Good evening to all the teachers out there and all the principals of all the schools. And good evening to the parents, and a very, very good evening to the children. So as educators, as principals, as teachers, we have to be working harder than our students every year to get proper marks. Then probably because you will be questioned from all sides. There are bureaucrats will be questioning you. There are managements will be questioning you, especially the parents will be questioning, how come my child did not get good marks? It's like every year I tell my teacher, every year you're writing the exams, every year you're preparing for an exams. So in these conditions, so in these type of situations, when you have to prepare your child for examinations, first we have to be mentally prepared for that. So that is the thing which we have to start off with. If I have to tell you, this becomes a very, very important topic across the globe. It is just not in our country. Across the globe, it's a very important topic because statistics says because of disturbed thought process. The previous year in the Corona times, where the students did not write examinations, 11,000 students have committed suicide. I would like to repeat the number: 11,000 students. So it's almost one every 1 hour, one student. It's like almost that way. Why did it happen? It was that year, which was the only year which students did not write examinations. So that is the highest in the whole of the 10 years of data. 2020, there were 11,000 students who have committed suicide from past 10 years. And that this was the only year there was no examinations. So this is something which is a food for thought for all of us. It is just not for parents, for everybody. As management, as educators, as teachers, as to everybody, we have to think, why is this happening? Because because of exam stress, they might have done this. No, there were no exams at all. So why is that this is happening? The first and foremost thing, it is the anxiety of failure in anything which is actually leading to a lot of suicides in the country, especially in the student community. uh, they feel, I have nobody. I have nobody to tell what I feel. I have nobody to share my problems. I have nobody to understand. I have nobody to go to. If I tell my parents, they don't even have time for me, or my teachers may not understand my problems. These are the things which are a major issue to the child. So even if they don't understand something very, for us it looks simple because you know the subject very well, but when they're not able to communicate, that itself is like a hill, a mountain. So they feel, oh my god, I don't even know this, how will I go and communicate? This happens because most of the children are unable to communicate their fears outside. It can be to the teacher or the parents. This is the current problem, which when we talk to most of the students, the first thing they say, my teachers don't listen to me. I was like stunned. Why? What happened? Don't you talk to them? No, no. They'll say, Yare, you don't understand. Probably they must have not tried telling also. That could be one of the major issue. But they said, I couldn't tell. So why was this? Why is this happening current generations? A teacher, we couldn't approach our teacher ages ago because they come, they teach, and they went away 20, 25, 30 years ago. Then also this was the problem. Today this child has your telephone number. Personally, they can message you, they can just pick up the phone and call you and all that stuff. Despite of that, we still see so many problems. The most problematic thing in this whole globe we are actually seeing is emotional issues, emotional problems of the child. And especially you're all dealing with 10th standard and 12th standard, so it'll be teenage problems. So it's like of children from the age of 12 to 18. They have huge issues. And one major issue is the currently, due to pandemic issues, they are not able to have proper communication with their family members, with their friends. They cannot go out and play. They're unable to connect with the teachers. So when they were real and regular classrooms, they could come to a teacher and go and tell, okay, this is my problem or something like that. They had counselors, in-house counselors in the school. They somehow went and spoke to them. But due to Corona pandemic, I think it's almost from February till today, it's almost 1.5 year, children have not gone to schools at all. They have not met their friends properly. There is no play at all these are contributing factors for the problematic development of the brain, especially the frontal lobe of the brain, which is responsible for all the higher cognitive functions of the child. That's like memory, concentration, emotions, and everything. This is totally having a problem because the child has not actually grown, bloomed out. Now in the past 2 years, it has actually not happened. Whatever learning is there is only with the mobile phone. They're not able to go out. They're not able to go. See, in the schools, they have played, they've gone to libraries, they could meet their friends, they've gone on trips, they have done a lot of activities and all those things which could not happen now. So now training the students to face the examination is the biggest challenge, especially for the teachers, because the child will always have this feel that, okay, examination. I request the host please let the participants in. So that there is a lot of things that I have to get 90. It's been told by the parents or the teachers or anybody. Or you're in 10th standard. Okay, you're writing your 12th. Oh, then you have to score something above 90. You have to score something about 95. You have to do this. You have to do that. That has been constantly told to the child, irrespective of any pandemic is there or not. So that is actually a biggest pandemic in the whole world, is telling the child, scaring the child. Informing the child is a different thing. Scaring the child is a different thing. So I would like to tell all of you here, please talk to the child, telling them that whatever it is, life has to go on. And winning is not the only thing in the world. Success just does not depend on the 95% you actually take. So you need to be comfortable. Stress is also important for life. You are stressed out, oh my god, you're anxious, that is all fine. Even if you're anxious, it is not a problem at all. So these are the way you need to communicate with the child when they talk to you, or in your regular classrooms. You can hold sessions like this and address to the students saying, it is okay to be stressed out, it is okay to be anxious, it is also okay if you don't get great marks, it's fine. Failure also is a part of life, but you should definitely try. Without trying, if you fail, then it's a problematic situation. So you need to try. But winning is not everything. Success is just not dependent on the marks you take. These are the regular type of positive affirmations you need to constantly keep telling the children, which is really very, very important. Probably you can send them messages like this saying, no problem, do your best, God will do the rest. So these are the things which has to be told to the child. This is not happening. I'm sure you all are telling it, but in a much more larger scale. That is really, really important. Please emphasize the importance of sleep to the children. Due to advent of technology, we are all able to connect. There are people from Middle East. We have a speaker from the US at this time of the day. He's speaking to us. Means this is thanks to technology. It is wonderful. But the same way, technology is also affecting the health of the child. Technology is affecting the sleep of the children. Children are not able to sleep on time. I am somebody who stresses so much on sleeping because there are two things. Because of proper sleep, a child will be able to absorb his reading very well. And if at all there is no proper sleep happening to the child, what happens is his memory power is affected, his concentration is affected, his consolidation of the whole material information he has learned affects. So that is the reason we ask everybody to tell the child to sleep comfortably. Sleeping minimum 7 to 8 hours a day is very, very important. And it is not that you sleep in the daytime. You sleep in the night time. That is when these hormones are liberated. That is when these happy hormones are liberated. That's when the concentration is going to get better. That's when the memory power is going to get better. This has to be told to the children. That has to be emphasized. You're supposed to sleep by 10:30, 11 o'clock so that your brain is going to start relaxing. Once in the relaxed state of mind, in sleep, most of the problems, the physical ailments will be cured, and mentally you're getting prepared for your examinations. This is a very important thing. I request all of you present here to tell your children. Please emphasize on the fact that sleep is very, very important. Next, coming to nutrition. Nutrition is extremely important because brain works with proper water and nutrition. If because of blood flow. If the child does not eat on time, if they don't even have proper eating habits, because of corona, eating habits have gone haywire. The children tell, I eat at 11 o'clock, I eat at 12 o'clock, I eat at 2 o'clock. Once for all, I have my brunch, or once for all in the evening, I eat at 6 o'clock and I don't have dinner. These are all not the right things. There are people who have told children to go for keto diets and all that stuff. You please take these type of protein powders, and there are medicines for increasing your memory power and all those things. Please, there is no such medicines to actually improve the memory power. There is no medicine you take it that enhances the cognitive functioning of the brain. There is nothing like this. If any child has such things in their mind, if any parent comes and asks you these kind of things, I request all of you to kindly update them with information that there is no tonic you're just going to drink and tomorrow morning your child is going to start performing well. There is nothing like this. If the child parent is concerned, they can definitely take them to a psychiatrist or a counselor, and they will subscribe uh, medicines which will be helpful for the child in case they're having other associated problems. But there is no such medicines. There are parents who ask me, doc, you do whatever you want, I don't know, but you have to give me something which I can give it to my child, so that by just taking that, my child is going to become intelligent. I mean, there is nothing like that. As teachers, you all know that there is no such magic medicine things that which can be done, and the child is going to be intelligent. This has to be updated to the child and to the parents too. It's very, very important. The children say, my teacher told me, you start taking some protein powders, you're going to get better and all. Please, there is nothing like this. Proper nutrition is very important to the child. Eating food 3 times, drinking milk is very important. Protein is important. I'm sure all of you know very well the 8 essential vitamins to the body is all important for the child to function well. Preparing your child for examination is preparing them for life. So we need to put a basic foundation for a healthy life. It's just not for the current examinations. For the entire life, they'll have a proper healthy lifestyle. We need to prepare every child a healthy lifestyle. So be it an examination or be it a problem in their life, they're ready to face this. That's how we need to prepare them. Most of them have discounted the quality and the importance of water in their life. Most of the children, you ask them, well, they come with a lot of complaints. They come with tiredness. They come with a lot of complaints. When you just sit back and see the history, they're not having proper quantities of water. So water is very, very essential for the complete development of the brain and the body, which will help the child becoming very strong, so they can face any examination in a much better way. So which, if I have to emphasize, sleep, water, food are very important, and equally important is exercises. Physical activity is very, 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 very important. Without physical activity, the brain doesn't actually function well. There's a lot of negativity filled in the brain. So what happens when there's a lot of negativity filled in the brain, when they're trying to put in new things, it does not get registered in the brain. So that is the reason we request the children to be physically active, so that the lot of negativity is drained out and new things, new learnings can happen, and the child is prepared to accept new things and to perform very well in the examinations. These are very important, and the most important thing to prepare the children now in the current pandemic situation is emotional strength and emotional support by the parents as well as the caregivers as teachers too. Because most of the children are emotionally disturbed. Most of the children are emotionally disturbed. They really need strong emotional support. That is what is actually going to make them feel comfortable. In that the comfortable sense of security, their neurotransmitters are liberated, and that's when the new things are happening, new learning is happening, and there are revising things that will be stored in their brain, and they're able to perform very, very well. So my dear teachers, my dear principals, and all the academicians, the most important thing you need to tell the child is, you need to read by yourself very, very well. Revise, 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 repeat, repeat, repeat is the only mantra to success in not only just in examinations, in entire life. For all these things, the most important parameters which is going to be standing around you and supporting you for successful life and successful examination is proper hydration, proper nutrition, proper sleep, proper physical activity, and proper emotional support by not just the family, also the caregivers and the teachers outside. And putting your hard work into it is very important. Having the right positive attitude, developing the right positive attitude, whatever it is, I'm not going to get scared. Whatever it is, I am whatever it is, I am going to work very hard, is the right kind of an attitude which has to be developed in the child. With these kind of parameters around them and this kind of a positive attitude, any child is definitely going to be successful as per their capabilities. Preparing the child for this is the responsibility of not just the parents, but as a society as a whole. You want me to address anybody about the same thing, I would definitely like to do it, because success is just not getting examinations. Success of your child is they have to be surviving on this earth, come what may. So addressing every aspect and every issue is very, very important, and especially the emotional issues have to be addressed on time. Otherwise we might tend to lose the child. So we are not here to lose, we are here to gain everything. So let's all of us support as a society as a whole for the complete development of the brain as well as the personality of the child, so that they can face any examination, any hardships in a very positive way. Thank you so much, Tangodara Said, for giving me such a wonderful opportunity, and thank you being such a wonderful audience, and looking forward to connect with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Padmakshi Lokesh. And it was, as always, wonderful listening to you, the flow of your thoughts,
Thank you, sir.
especially connected with the students more. And I think we should have a fully exclusive audience of students and parents for you. And that will make a lot of sense in conducting a webinar of this magnitude. You did talk about the technology also causing a lot of ill effects among the students. Yes, it does. But technology at the same time has upheld and enabled the continuance of education. If technology is used, technology, if it is used in a very productive way in terms of aiming at education and promoting education, reinforcing learning in many ways, because children do love mobile, do love digital platform. If we could use this platform to promote education, especially the loss of learning that has happened during the pandemic times, and use technology to reinforce learning, teachers are the masters in this field. Definitely, by way of their pedagogy, they are able to connect to the students and drive the concept and able to give them the conceptual knowledge which is required for them to face the board examinations or the assessment of the school. Talking technology also, if produced very productively to reinforce learning, it could play a very major role to to make up all those lost grounds in terms of learning loss that has happened during the pandemic times. So in this context, without much delay, I would like to invite Mr. Pani Ramalingam, who is going to speak on how technology could help in reinforcing learning. And he is speaking all the way from Washington. And welcome, Mr. Pani Ramalingam, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tangadharai. Thank you, Dr. Padmakshi. It's an excellent speech. I learned a lot of things, as always. Whenever I come to these webinars, I take notes, and from my notes, I can see your guidance, your recipe for success in this pandemic time: stress management, positivity on daily note, sleep management, or adequate sleep on a daily basis, adequate nutrition, emotional support for the children, and that goes to adults and parents as well. Get the right level of, right degree of support from the right source. And if you continue to do exercises, whatever the appropriate exercise type, whether it is meditation, whether it is physical exercise, get that exercise factored in your lifestyle, and that leads you to such a phenomenal speech. Thank you very much for that. With no further delay, I'll jump into my topic, technology, and I'm going to share my screen. So I have a small PowerPoint presentation I will walk you all through and in terms of what my thinking in the space is. So give me 1 second. Hope you're all able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can see. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thandre. So with no further delay, as always, I'd like to start the conversation with the video. Let me start the video and then I'll jump into my topic. I hope you can hear the audio.
Let's face it, school's not what it used to be. Today's high schoolers are learning how to fly drones and 3D printing their artwork. It's really cool, but also kind of scary. So what crazy new technologies will replace number 2 pencils and good old graph paper in the classrooms of the future? Virtual reality has been around since the 90s, but now Facebook and Google are no longer in your face, but on your face. Google's Expeditions program turns smartphones into virtual reality viewers using simple, inexpensive cardboard. And now that Facebook's bought Oculus Rift, they're planning on getting it in classrooms gaming as early as next year. This is the first kind of header that might get you into the popular crowd. 3D printing in schools is revolutionizing the art of show and tell. These printers can make machine parts, jewelry, even guns. Yesterday's arts and crafts is now modern-day engineering. Elementary-aged children are already using 3D printing to design prosthetic hands. Remember how you had to lug around heavy books and then swap them out for other heavy books from your locker? Well, now there's the cloud, saving students from back problems everywhere. But the cloud could also give teachers direct access to data on students' study habits. By doing all their homework online, students provide engagement data on how long they've spent on their assignments and whether or not they're taking notes. There's a bonus though. Major publishers could use that data to judge how effective and engaging certain textbooks are, so you could be recycling that boring algebra book. With biometrics technology, you've got fingerprint scanning to borrow library books and iris scanning instead of ID cards. Teachers will even be able to tell if you're concentrating or not during online courses using eye tracking technologies. Yikes. It's like old school projectors, but in 3D. Remember Michael Jackson's Back from the Dead moonwalk performance? Well, hologram technology in classrooms is still just a dream for now because it's too expensive. But in the future, it would allow teachers to give lessons to students across the world. Imagine taking a tour of a historic 3D model of the Colosseum right from your desk. The potential for new technology in the classroom is pretty amazing. But will it cause students who are plugged in all the time to forget what it's like to live in the real world?
So let me summarize that video. You all know that all of these technologies are coming, right? But given the pandemic, how do we leverage some of these technologies for better performance for all of us, right? If you look at this lifestyle that I've seen around us, even in the United States and even in India, pandemic was a shock for us in 2019, the early stages of 2020. And, now we are into 2022. The state of affairs are, we have to learn to live with the pandemic, right? We have to use whatever tools and technologies that are accessible to us to make the best thing that we can do given the current situation. The previous video I showed, it talked about virtual reality, it talked about drone building, it talked about people building things using 3D printers and so on and so forth. So what is the impact of all those technologies and how we can use them in this post-pandemic world where we are learning to live with the pandemic? It's schools and principals are trying to figure out how to enhance the infrastructure. They're trying to create wireless networks. They're creating digital walls for students when they are in the school to learn better. And whatever is discussed in the school using the digital walls are shared evenly to those students who are connecting remotely. So they're using virtual reality, augmented reality in schools is beginning to take place given the pandemic, and also provide the same kind of knowledge over an e-learning platform, one or many, to students who are at home. So what is the technology enable in the classroom, and what are the key benefits, if you ask. Here are the key points that is that research has found, and I've been able to validate some of these things as well, is it creates a more engaged environment by leveraging tools like virtual reality, or even a PowerPoint with more animation, more video in it. It engages the student much more than with the blackboard, whiteboard, green board back then with the chalk, right? So engaging technology, using more videos, more PowerPoint presentations creates a more engaged environment with the student. Improves the knowledge retention rate. Students are now able to learn more because we all know they learn from the mobile phone, but when you engage the students with the lessons through the mobile device or through videos, now they're able to retain that knowledge much more than simply reading a book, right? Reading a book has become a chore these days, and children seem to learn a lot more with the newer technologies like video and so on and so forth. In one of the earlier conversations, I mentioned how even schools are actively looking at creating an education-centric TikTok channel, right? So the educators are working with the TikTok as a company, trying to curate the content, bring education-centric content, so they can deliver algebra or trigonometry type lessons to specific students, so they can learn faster, right? So it improves the retention rate. And it also supports the ability of the students to learn at their own pace, right? If every student has a different way of learning. Some listen through audio, some listen to video, or learn better with video. Some have to be handheld by the teacher. But the technology allows for teachers and the schools to come up with the appropriate learning vehicle for a given target group of students. I'll talk more about that in a second. And it improves collaboration, right? Given the pandemic, in a hybrid learning environment, what things are going to, or teachers are coming up with a project, whether it is 3D printing type project, or whether they are using a simpler project, they are now dividing students into groups, and the groups are supposed to work on a specific project, and allows, they use like technologies, mobile tools, or even real world tools such as 3D printing, as I mentioned, to come up with a specific solution to a given problem. So technology, when leveraged properly, allows students to collaborate better, come up with the appropriate solution to a given problem. No longer students are sitting alone, are sitting in their own world in a classroom when the teacher is speaking, but the collaboration allows them to interact with their fellow students and also come up with a unique solution. When you divide a classroom into multiple groups and give each one of them a separate project, and there is a collaborative environment is created, a specific goal is set, and the students work collectively within that group, and they deliver something. And these all are possible, much more readily possible, given the digital tools that are available today. So, and then more importantly, when you bring technology to students at such an early stage, they get introduced to such forward-looking technologies at an early stage in their life. They get prepared for a digital future. As we all know, when I went to school, there was only paper and pencil. I didn't have mobile phones. Now, when I look at my children today, they don't even talk to me anymore on the phone. When I want to talk to them, I text them. They text me back, and they tell me when they are available to talk. Even when I talk to them, they're wearing their headphones, they're listening to something else. The conversation is not productive. But when do I have a productive conversation? Late in the evening, when I talk to them over a text. So I'm adapting my lifestyle to communicate with my children. I'm sure you face a similar situation too. But the point being, the technology opens up better ways of communicating, creating that bond with your children, creating better learning environment. So we need to take a look at how we best to take advantage of the technological tools to achieve our target goals. So with no further delay, let me get into the other, Dr. Thangadhar talked about pedagogy, and Dr. Padmakshi talked about psychology. I'll talk about another one. It's called strategy. Right? In business world, we are faced with this every single day. But there are many definitions that exist, but one definition is a plan to achieve the goals that you set for yourself by leveraging technology. That is strategy. Right? If you look at the student or school ecosystem, the teachers, parents, students, we all want better performance. One of the teachers asked, how do I improve myself so I can deliver better performance? I can better performance to my students. I can improve my own performance. So it is on every one of our mind that we need to improve our performance. We need to improve the performance of our children. How can I leverage technology? Schools, principals, look at their entire school's performance, teachers' performance, students' performance. How do we improve the whole thing? So the teachers, the traditional model has been teacher-centered teaching, and then now it is moving towards more of a collaborative learning, right? How can we support collaborative learning in a school environment, in a hybrid environment? Am I creating the right infrastructure in the school? For a principal, am I creating the right the technology infrastructure? Do I have the right e-learning platform that allows my teachers and students to collaborate and take advantage of the technology and learn better given the pandemic situation? And there are online learning tools available, right? Maybe the principals are wondering, like the TikTok example I gave, they're looking at, can we somehow dovetail with the online learning platforms like Udemy? Could we bring a specific arrangement with them so that the online education is supplemented with the not necessarily offline? When the students go home, they still engage or learn more through another online mechanism that reinforces what they learned in school. Look at other platforms, and we have developed another platform called FastEdge.ai, and I'll briefly talk about towards the end of it. And this, similar platform like ours. I'm not saying you got to use our platform, but look at other platforms like ours, and these platforms become a fabric for teachers to take advantage of technology, for parents to get to know how well the children are performing, and the students to get to the content when they want, where they want, however they want to access that information. So overall, we are looking to get better performance leveraging technology. And the underlying key message is we all need to pause, take a step back, given this pandemic and the constraints that we have, come up with the appropriate strategy. What is our goal? What is my child's goal? Or what are my students' goals? Or what is the goal for me as a teacher? What is the right strategy to achieve my goals? And how do I leverage technology? I strongly urge each and every one of you to take a step back, maybe first thing in the morning, carve out 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Think through in your own private world, create that strategy. Then you will be able to figure out how do I leverage one of these technologies. In the next few slides, I'll share what I thought is, possibly a goal for a teacher, and how could be they could achieve their goals using strategy. What are the potential tips that I can, what I've come across and I can offer using technology? If you're a teacher, one of the key goals for you is probably raise the performance of all students. If you take a classroom, typically there are front benchers are high performance, and there are middle performance that are medium, and then there is low. So low, medium, high. What's your goal? You're trying to raise the level of the high performance to be even higher, medium performance performers to be higher performers, and then low to be still high or higher or the highest. So you have this burden on your shoulder. You're trying to raise all the performance of the students across those three bands. And you look at the technology tools. and your limited constraints, given your own time constraints and emotional constraints that you have, and how do I achieve this performance gain across those three bands? And what I, some of the tools that we provide, and what some of the things that I've seen others to use, is to take the time, record your lessons, practice, right? Instead of trying to deliver a 40-minute lecture, try to reduce that to 25, combine video, bring YouTube videos, other learning content, record that content ahead of time, and then use the classroom to be, you deliver the lecture and collect feedback, or play the video and collect the feedback on the video. Engage the time with the students and get feedback from them. Use videos, as you see on the right, and hands-on projects, right? Let the students own that education, right? Generally, the tendency is, I remember this from my school days. I go to school because my parents sent me to school. I listen to the teacher because the teacher wants me to listen. I never truly owned the learning of the education, right? And until I got into my, +1, +2, and I was always coasting, right? I'm always going with the flow, and if my parents pushed me to study, I studied. But the point here is allow students to take ownership of their education. How do you do that? Engage them more specifically, either dividing the students into a group and giving them an online project work remotely is a good way to get them to collaborate with their own students, get them to take ownership of their own education. And in terms of communicating with parents, and I think the teachers struggle with this, right? Today, the parents are not engaging. They send the students to the class for 8 hours, and they don't really engage in this thing. But communicate with parents, even if it is a WhatsApp type communication. Provide an access to the parents to engage with the individual teachers. Create a WhatsApp group. If you're a chemistry teacher, create a group of chemistry, 10th standard, or a science 10th standard. And more importantly, in the video, it talked about getting access to the data. So, use an e-learning platform, maybe something like ours, but gain access to your child's performance. Provide access to the parent, if you're a teacher, access to the data of that student so that they can get a real-time view of how that child is performing, right? So this allows better engagement with the student. This allows the parent to take a responsibility when they go back home and ensure that the student is continuing to learn at home. So this sort of, leveraging technology to illustrate complex concepts, take advantage of the technical tools to deliver content by video, collect real-time feedback. Right. For example, you all have seen Kaun Banega Crorepati, right? One of the interesting about that program that I've seen, and it used to be here in the United States, is called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And the program has an audience poll, right? We all seen that, right? The audience poll is so effective, right? So, you got to take advantage of, real-time quizzes in the classroom. Give them a real-time quiz. What does that tell you? It tells you as a teacher how quickly are they absorbing the concept they are teaching. Even though they may not be in the classroom, they remotely are sitting in their home, but it gives you a feedback as to how quickly are they learning the concept that you are describing to them. Earlier, you were able to assess that body language in the classroom. You're able to see the backbenchers are not paying attention. You're able to call them out and say, hey, you answered my question. But today you can't do that, right? So, but take advantage of the real-time quizzes. The quizzes deliver results instantly by students. So you can clearly see how they are performing. Same with online tasks. You're able to conduct a real quick test at the end of a 40-minute lecture, and you're able to assess how well the students learned what you taught at the end of the session. You don't have to wait for 3 months of the exam, but you are now able to take advantage of the technology, assess the performance, or assess the knowledge retention capability of the student at the end of the class. So teachers, you need to look at at technology and figure out what is the best way to use your time, what is the best way to illustrate complex concepts, and what is the best way to assess students' performance during the class, at the end of the class. This changes the dynamic. This allows students to be more engaged in this post-pandemic world with the teacher and learn better with the technology tools. And parents, and I'll talk a little bit more about the parents, you are now have access to the information on how well your child is performing. And in terms of emails, in terms of WhatsApp, in terms of real access. Access is that you go to the mobile app and see your child's quiz response today in the science class today, right? That's real-time information, right? So it gives you all the data you need to perform well. If you're a student, I know we don't have students here, but I want to talk about if you're a student, what's your goal? I want to get into a reputed college, or I want to be an entrepreneur, or I want to be a researcher. That's your goal. But from a post-pandemic world, how do you achieve this goal, right? Dr. Padmakshi said this so eloquently put, right? The most important thing here is, you don't try to solve this on your own. Ask for help, right? Your parents, your teachers are there to help. Right? So if you're a parent, you are a student, help the student or student community create their own strategy, help them to step back, figure out what their goals are and what their soft areas are, areas they are weak on, and help them figure out how to improve that areas. Does that mean, do they need to spend more time looking at YouTube videos? Does that mean, do they need to take more tests? They are fearful of taking tests. So give them a technical environment, a technology platform where they can address the fear by taking repeated tests, right? So as a teacher, as a parent, provide that support when the child's asking for it, even if he's not asking for, have that engagement with them, determine what is their weaknesses, and help them create that strategy. Make them owners of their strategy, make them owners of their own learning, and that sets the stage up. They may get lower mark at this point in their 10th standard, 11th standard, or 12th standard, but it sets them up to be successful in life because but by the time they go to the college, by the time they face the real world, if they start figuring out how to strategize, how to improve their soft areas to be a strong suit, it's too late, right? So the underlying message here is that leverage technology, assess what is, or help assess what is your students or your child's weaknesses, help them achieve that improvement, that better performance using technology platform. I'm probably running short of time, but I'm getting to quickly about a parent. There are probably many parents here. Every one of us are a parent here listening to this, right? What is it that we want, right? Day one, we all know our child is not, is going to be super performant as soon as they're born or as soon as they're going to start going to school. But what we are looking for is that incremental growth. It's the curve of performance that is steadily improving over a period of time. How do I know that my child is improving? What do I need to do, right? Engage with the teachers, engage with the platform that gives you that type of information, right? Engage with your child to provide the technical tools. One thing that I did not learn at the younger age is the time management, right? Today, the technology tools like shared calendars, like allows the student to take ownership of his 8 hours. Right in the morning, I used to go to school at 9 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. and be in school till 4 o'clock. That model is no longer working, right? Pandemic and kids have too much distraction. But create a calendar that works best for your child, right? That works with his schedule, right? But create a schedule and make sure they follow the schedule. The power of the schedule is phenomenal, right? The young minds learn to work with the schedule. So if you're a parent, you are a teacher, help the student create their own time management or schedule to manage their time and have periodic support. Dr. Padmakshi talked about the power of emotional support, right? Everyone, now and then, if you are a parent, take the time out once a week or once a month or once every 2 weeks. right? And figure out what is the best emotional support that is needed. It doesn't have to be once a week. It can be daily basis, right? Whatever works for you. And if they are not willing to engage with you on a one-on-one conversation, engage them using technical tools, right? It took me a while to figure out my children responded much better over text messages than when I talked to them, right? Now, all my emotional conversations are over text. I'm not afraid to say that. But you get what I'm getting is I get better engagement with them. I see how well they are doing, what they are thinking, and it all happens over text. So whatever communication vehicle, leverage technology, provide that emotional support, connect with the teachers, whether it's WhatsApp group, sign up with email notifications. Like for example, on our platform, we allow a parent to get email notifications. If your child takes a quiz, whatever mark he gets, you get a copy of the performance report at the end of the class. You get real-time information about your child's performance on a daily basis. So take advantage of technology, engage with your child, engage with the teachers, use the platforms to get that information and figure out what's the best way to help improve your child's performance. So briefly talk about, what we bring. It's more of a, just a reference for you guys. As a platform, we provide capabilities to record content, personalized content delivery. We have live quiz support, like what I talked about earlier. We provide practice tasks. We are integrated with the WhatsApp, so we can support WhatsApp messaging. And we also provide, a bunch of other capabilities. But the platform really is designed to support schools to offer the next generation of education to students and engage the parents and the teachers much more effectively using a technical platform. You don't have to use our platform. We are just one of many. I'm not here to push our platform, but I just wanted to point out, look at platforms like this as a principal, as a parent, and see whether this is the right platform for your child, right? It doesn't probably offer everything. Maybe YouTube and WhatsApp is all you need. But my point is that actively incorporate technology in your strategy development to get better performance for your child. So the key advantages of our platform, we support anytime, anywhere learning, record, fast forward, all that features. Teachers can upload content, scheduled play out. So again, teachers, what we are trying to do is allowing teachers to spend more time engaging with the students, not delivering something the students can get other places, right? Today, I see my kids use WhatsApp more readily with engaging with other people. They use YouTube a lot, and I'm sure all the kids do, right? So if they are learning YouTube, what is the best way to take advantage of that? Maybe curate that content. What I mean by curate is to structure a group of videos that you think is going to be effective. So your time and the child's time is spent focused on trigonometry, right? Our algebra, our calculus, whatever you think is the appropriate is, rather than describing the concepts on the whiteboard and over a Zoom session. It's just not the best use of time, right? Use the readily available tools. Use the time in the classroom to build that relationship. When I say classroom, in the Zoom session, right, given the pandemic situation, build that relationship, help them figure out their own strategy. And, the 21st century is all about bringing newer technology, and the young minds are able to adapt to these technologies or absorb these technologies very well, and we accept that and then start using that to help them do get better performance. I have a video, Dr. Tangadhar. I'm happy to play this, but if you're out of time, I don't need to.
No, you can play. We'll manage.
Okay, so right here is a video you guys can.
Welcome to Technology and Pedagogy. How does technology impact on our learning environment and our pedagogy?
Change. The world is changing at a staggering pace. The skills that a learner needs to develop and master in order to succeed in the future have also changed. So our model of learning and how we teach must change. We need to rethink learning and how our students learn. Change. How do we help our learners keep pace with the rapid increases in information, communication, technology and globalisation, and still develop lifelong skills and foster a love of learning? Here are just a few of the skills that our learners will require in the 21st century. Our pedagogy, or the art or science of teaching, needs to evolve and change to assist and meet the needs of the 21st century learner so that they can acquire the necessary skills to enable them to embrace this changing world and foster a love of learning and adaptability.
So let me go back. Let me summarize this video. Change is happening every single day. The only thing that is constant is change. We all have heard. How do we prepare our 21st century high performer to be ready, right? So if the evolving trend is technology, everything is becoming more technology centric. We need to bring technology tools to the schools, to everyday life of students, to better prepare them to be more successful, high performers in the 21st century digital economy. Take advantage of technology. Somebody, Dr. Padmakshi said this, too much technology is not good. Totally agree, right? Too much of anything is not good. Moderation in everything. And that said, what is that moderation? How do we use that moderation effectively so that we all achieve better performance in our life? I will say this as a closing note. We all need to take a step back every week, every day, and look at where we are and look at our strategy. The strategy needs to change given the change that's happening around us. What is my strategy? How do I achieve that? What is my specific set of plans, steps to achieve my strategy? Whether it is my child's performance or whether it is my school's performance, what do I need to do to get better performance? And once we figure that out, we already have crossed 50% of the ocean, right? The rest is creating specific plans, engaging the right people and putting that plan in motion, right? So I strongly urge you, whether you are a parent, teacher, or a student, take a step back, craft that strategy, create the plan to achieve your goals, and go execute. Use technology as a tool. Don't get overwhelmed by it. Dr. Thangadurai, thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk to you all. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. But I strongly feel the technology tools that we have is very powerful. And you know, Dr. Snegala ma'am, you know, she's attending today. I mean, one of our talks, you know, she said, and it's still in my mind, is the Pomodoro method, right? So what she was describing or recommending in a talk was coming up with a method for a given student, that are students to follow. That process, you use that process to get better performance. So whatever is a method, Pomodoro or any other method, if you are learning to employ that method, that will help you to achieve your goals. So that's where I am, and that's what I've learned. And thank you again, Dr. Thangadurai, for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Pani Ramalingam, and please stay back for a little question answer session. And I request if we could have a kind of a frame for a panel discussion. And as soon as Mr. Panir withdraws his screen, stop sharing his screen. Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, we have heard Dr. Padmakshi Lokesh, we have heard Mr. Panner Ramalingam, two sides and two pillars who are also supporting the education